Evening News.
And a very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord with the Wednesday, August 12th edition of the CBC Evening News and our top story. Youth Minister Stephen Lashley is warning young people not to fall prey to the gun violence culture. He says this trend is one young people should refrain from.
We have to adopt a zero tolerance approach to gun violence, and those young people who may be victims of persons who are encouraging them to use guns to solve problems. We have to find a way to sensitize them that that is not the way.
Mr. Lashley was speaking at the National Stadium this morning, where a track and field competition event was held for children taking part in the National Summer Camp program. The minister says young people must be guided in the right direction.
On this International Youth Day, I believe we have to refocus our energies in ensuring that we can empower our young people to be able to reject negativity and to be able to reject violence in all of its formats. This is something that requires the full mobilization of our society, the full mobilization of our young people.
A new police headquarters and new stations at Hastings and King Garden are on the cards for the island. The new headquarters, according to Attorney General and Minister of Home Affairs Adriel Brathwaite, will be located close to the new CXC complex along Pine Road, St. Michael. To make way for the new headquarters, existing government units belonging to the Ministry of Transport and Works and the Drainage Division will all have to be relocated. Mr. Brathwaite made the revelation as he led off debate in Parliament on a resolution to borrow the sum of $76 million to improve conditions in the Royal Barbados Police Force.
That the old Barbados Water Authority building will be renovated to move those facilities, to move the MTW and drainage officers into new facilities in the old Barbados Water Authority building there on the Pine, and then be able to demolish those existing structures there on the old site, so that we can start the construction of the police headquarters. It is estimated that the renovations to the old Barbados Water Authority building would be about $1.4 million.
Mr. Brathwaite says the Office of the Attorney General, even with its challenges, has found it possible to improve accommodation for officers. He revealed that refurbishments have already taken place to improve conditions at a number of stations, and further work is on the cards for others across the island. He says that land owned by the Crown at 6 Roads in St. Philip has been identified for a possible station. Mr. Brathwaite says the old Blackrock Station building is to be brought back into use.
This building will house what is now called the Family Conflict Unit and the Truth Verification Unit. It is estimated that the cost will be $1.4 million, and it will take 14 months to complete. And again, construction can start immediately.
Opposition Member of Parliament for St. Joseph, Dale Marshall, believes the lack of resources, including manpower, has also caused community policing to become almost extinct.
We have to get back, sir. We have to get back to the notion that crime reduction relies on a solid relationship between the members of the police force and our communities, and that is not something that you build when a station sergeant or an assistant commissioner of police shows up once year at graduation. That is something that has to be put in place on a daily basis.
Finance Minister Chris Sinclair says more collaborative approaches are needed to deal with debt in Caribbean countries. He says this is necessary as several Caribbean countries incur debt when embarking on developmental initiatives. He was speaking at the 11th annual meeting of the group of Latin American and the Caribbean debt management specialists at the Hilton Hotel this morning. Mr. Sinclair also listed some of the efforts that have already been attempted.
There have been capacity building initiatives, for instance, in the preparation of medium-term debt management strategies. Work remains ongoing, for example, on the improvement of our debt management databases, and certainly having our representatives participate in a forum such as this is also geared at continuing those efforts to ensure that the Caribbean is current with new debt developments. We are therefore very cognizant of the fact that a sound and robust debt management system is one of the important pillars that must work in tandem with our ongoing fiscal consolidation measures.
The finance minister also reiterated calls for an international debt relief program for countries with small and vulnerable economies.
For us small states, it is not enough to just speak almost disparagingly about our negative debt matrices, as if pouring scorn on us for daring to pursue the development of our people and societies. And it is certainly not enough to keep sending missions of sterilized technocrats, all helpful as they are, and even academics to quote-unquote study the situation, and if we are lucky, publish a book to which we get entitled a free copy. No, that is not what the Caribbean needs.
Well, Director of the Caribbean Policy Research Center, Dr. Damian King, maintains that there are several lessons which can be learned from the Greek economic situation. Among them, he says, is the need for governments to be wary of cheap loans and the importance of debt relief to countries. And he was delivering a presentation at the Hilton this morning entitled "The World Economic Perspectives and Its Impact on the Public Debt Management Lessons of Greece."
There are three elements in debt reduction: fiscal consolidation, debt relief of some form, and economic reform to promote growth. At various times, the negotiations in Greece have focused on one of those elements to the exclusion of the others.
Well, more news in just a moment, but first we want to get your take on this question. Should there be a voluntary mentoring program in communities across Barbados to help guide young people? You can text yes or no to short code 8111 and we'll have the results for you at the end of our news.
Sharing everything is our style. No camera can capture our magic. But when a cold hits, my head is somewhere else. I need that cold out and life back in.
When a cold keeps you away, reach for Panadol Multi-Symptoms. Clinically proven ingredients for a total response to help clear your physical symptoms.
So I can be fully there for them.
Panadol Multi-Symptoms. When the cold is gone, life takes its place.
Let's talk about nothing, not, nada, zip, just zero. You can get a new Visa credit card and pay zero interest until 2016. Just switch your balance on another credit card or store account to CIBC First Caribbean. Pay 0% for 6 months on your new card and it will cost you zero to make the switch. Why pay a higher interest rate on your credit card? Switch it to CIBC First Caribbean and start saving money right away. Terms and conditions apply. This unbeatable offer ends soon. Contact us today and zero in on this great deal from Visa and CIBC First Caribbean.
Make no mistake, when you're looking for the #1 source of the latest business news in Barbados, the region, and beyond, it has to be The Bottom Line, produced and presented by me, Ryan Broom, every weekday morning on CBC's 94.7 FM at 7:50 a.m. It comes to you with the kind compliments of the Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union Limited, reminding you to save smart and borrow smarter. So remember, make it your business to tune into The Bottom Line, the best source for business news on the radio.
Barbados joined with other countries across the globe in observing International Youth Day. It is being observed under the theme Youth Civic Engagement. The campaign of the day is geared towards the promotion of youth involvement, participation and empowerment as it relates to the development of stronger societies as we aspire towards a peaceful and prosperous future. The United Nations says the engagement and participation of youth is essential to achieve sustainable human development. The Youth Development Council will be hosting a panel discussion centered around the slogan of Youth Speak Up, Youth Speak Out, Youth Be Heard. This panel discussion is meant to help to raise awareness on the matter of civil engagement in Barbados and give young people an opportunity to voice their opinions and ideas as it relates to this topic. And it started around 6:30 this evening at the Moot Court Room of the Faculty of Law at the UWI CAFO campus. Well, the European Union's ambassador to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean is pleased with the dialogue taking place between the Caribbean and European countries over the blacklisting of uncooperative tax havens. Michael Barford made the comments just days after Spain removed Barbados from their list. In June, the EU's blacklist included Barbados among 30 countries not doing enough to crack down on tax avoidance. Mr. Barford encouraged the move, saying the continuous dialogue could eventually see Barbados removed completely from the EU's list.
I cannot prejudge what will happen in these dialogues, but I would expect that in many cases the dialogue itself will remove the label uncooperative from the minds of many of our member states. The dialogue is very, very important.
And Mr. Barford also stressed that the list was not to be seen as a blacklist, but a move to improve transparency within the EU. In addition, he told Barbadians not to panic as the list was not expected to affect the island financially. Well, in an effort to restore the Carnegie Public Library, the Preservation Foundation Trust is raffling a GLA 200 Mercedes-Benz. The 2015 model vehicle is worth about 187,000 Barbados dollars, and one ticket will be raffled, priced at $100. Sir Henry Fraser believes that the Carnegie Library will benefit the youth.
This project is to restore it. And what we're going to have at the Carnegie Library is an investment in the youth of Barbados. It is going to be the Caribbean's most wonderful library, information and cultural centre, right at the heart of the historic core of Bridgetown.
Still to come and look at some of the stories making headlines across the region. But first, a reminder that we want to hear from you on this question. Should there be a voluntary mentoring program in communities across Barbados to help guide young people? Text